Find the high-impact hire your business needs fast on Indeed. No long-term contracts and lots of great candidates at Indeed.com/high-impact.
WING 1410 Dayton, Dayton's ESPN Radio. He's a former Buckeyes great and now a college football Hall of Famer. And don't forget about his 13 years of NFL experience playing for the Eagles, Dolphins, Jets, and the New England Patriots.
Watch for the great block by Keith Byars on Pepper Johnson. Bam! Right there. Byars just nailed it.
He's Dayton's own Keith Byars. It's the Keith Byars Show, presented by Lee's Famous Recipe Chicken on Dayton's home of the Ohio State Buckeyes, 1410 ESPN Radio.
Welcome. You're listening to the Keith Byars Radio Show, presented by Lee's Famous Recipe Chicken. Phone number to call is 937-457-9464. You can hit me on Twitter also, KAB41. Or you can watch us on live streaming right now on 1410ESPN.com. So you can hit me with all those different ways, your questions, comments, and concerns. One more time, the phone number is 937-457-9464. Wow, so much to get started, but let me start the show. We're still in the midst of the pandemic. We're doing social distancing and all that good stuff. Please take care of your fellow man. You do the same thing so that we make sure that we can put a crush to this horrible disease that's affecting us. Another horrible disease that's affecting us is Black Lives Matter is not, our lives do matter. It's not a slogan. It's not a slogan, guys. It's a movement. Watching the NBA game last night, you see it on the court. Let's make our world better. You can do it. I can do it. Everyone, let's still be involved with that. I don't want it to get stale. It's always going to stay fresh until we do something. This is America. We have to finally be, Americans. Oh, so much going on. I cannot believe this is NFL Eve. It's supposed to be like Christmas Eve for us big old football fans, but it's like NFL Eve. Yes, NFL starts tomorrow. They start tomorrow. The Kansas City Chiefs against the Houston Texans. I was about to say the Houston Astros. Can you believe that? But we got to talk about that. We're going to talk about the NBA playoffs. The Eastern and Western Conference are starting to shake out. But before I get to any of that, because it's our flyby, I have to take a moment and pay respect to an icon here in Dayton, high school basketball. And across the country, you can't be from Dayton, Ohio, or lived here for 15 minutes and not know this person's name as Dwight Anderson. I'm sure most of you guys know Dwight passed over the holiday weekend. It was he died of an aneurysm, from what I'm understanding. But Dwight, I went to the same high school as he did. He's a few years older than me here in Dayton. So instead of what I've been doing each and every week over the summer is talking about the Dayton Varsity Club and highlighting one particular high school. This week I was going to do my high school, Roth High School, but that's going to have to wait for another week because this all is going to be committed. This portion of the show is 100% committed to Dwight Anderson. I was fortunate enough to know him, as a person. I saw him, playing as a player, and everybody, I posted it on my social media. We always get into talking about, because I got a list coming out that I'm going to talk about later on in my show, a top 5, a top this, and a top this. Who's the best high school player to ever come out of Ohio? Not just Dayton, out of Ohio. Dayton, we don't even have to talk about that. We know is Dwight Anderson. But when you talk about Ohio basketball, in Ohio, we're spoiled. We are a rich state in sports. No matter which sport you're talking about, we can, step up to the plate and say, hey, we can be represented. I don't care if we're talking about track and field. We could talk about, Jesse Owens, the Butch Reynolds, David Albritton, the list goes on and on when you talk about track and field. So any sport, baseball, Mike Schmidt, Steve Yeager, just to name it quick. But when you talk about high school basketball and basketball in general, Dwight Anderson is the best high school player to ever play in Ohio. And there was a lot of great basketball players that played before Dwight entered the scene in the mid-'70s. That's from Ohio. Jerry Lucas right down the road in Middletown is one that really stands out. Probably when Jerry Lucas graduated high school in the late 50s, I think it was without a doubt he was the best high school basketball player in Ohio. But then time goes on. And then in the 70s, Dwight Anderson comes onto the scene. When he left high school, I think everybody said, he's the best high school player we've ever seen. And then time flows on, another 25 plus years, almost 30 years later, high school kid from Akron, Ohio, graduates by the name of Lebron James. And they say, LeBron is pretty good. He's did you see Dwight Anderson play? LeBron is, some people will say he's the best high school, but did you see Dwight Anderson play? And so LeBron was being compared to Dwight. So in LeBron's credit, hey, that's awesome. That's high company. LeBron, you are awesome. And but if I have to pick one guy, and a lot of people would agree with me, it's Dwight Anderson. That's how good this player was. I mean, we didn't have, social media back in those days. And Dwight, after he left high school, he went on to the University of Kentucky, then USC, and played in the pros. And, we used to going down that rabbit hole. Nobody's perfect. Everybody's had different struggles in life. And Dwight, certainly had his. He was got hung up on drugs. And that ruined a lot of his professional and college career. But that's just a portion of someone's life. And Dwight was in a whole nother place in 2020 than he was in the late 80s, early 80s and 90s. It's a totally different place right now. But in high school, Dwight averaged 38 points a game, 14 rebounds, 11 assists. That's a triple-double. A triple-double, 38 points. And let's remember, there was no three-point line. So if he had a three-point line, it's easy. I would conservatively give Dwight 10 more points a game. So that's almost 50. If he had a three-point line, and I'm being conservative, in 32 minutes, this guy was averaging 38 points. It's only 8-minute quarters. So they'll go to a Rolfe High School game back in those days, and cause it was just an experience. Whatever you was doing on Friday night, clear your schedule. You pick up the paper on Monday or Tuesday. Well, where's Rolfe play on Friday? I have to be at the game. Hopefully, and then what had happened, a lot of Rolfe games would switch to Saturdays because majority of high school people play on Friday, so they don't want to compete against that Rolfe crowd. When Rolfe had a home game, Dwight, started when he was there. We continued the tradition after I got there. But a home game at Rolfe, yes, it wasn't the biggest gym in the world, but it was standing room only. And when I say standing room only, when you had to take the ball out, it would be people standing on the court. You're like, excuse me, sir, ma'am, could you step back while we could take the ball out, and then you can step on the court once the ball goes to the other end. It was that. It was must-see TV, but it wasn't on television. It was, you had to be in the gymnasium to see this guy play. Then they started moving a lot of the games to the UD Arena and places like that, bigger venues that could support it, because you wanted to see the greatest basketball player you ever can see eyes on. Two quick stories. First time when I was growing up, my father used to take me and my brothers and the whole family, of that matter, to different sporting events. That was, one of the reasons that helped develop my love of sports. We would go to Welcome Stadium and watch football games. We would go to OUD Fieldhouse. We go to different high schools to watch a basketball game. Plus, it was a cheap night out. Family of 7 of us, mother, father, and 5 kids. So, but we used to do that. Then I'm getting to be a teenager. We would start telling my father which games we wanted to go to. And we finally, Dad, you got to go to Rolfe. We want you to see this basketball player. He named Dwight Anderson. He's really good, Dad. He's really, really good. My father said, oh, okay. It was a weekend. Went to go see him on a Friday night. Dwight was playing Colonel White. It's like 5 seconds to go in the half. Colonel White missed a free throw. Dwight gets the rebound, drives the distance, the length of the court, and two-hand dunks over two players. And at the buzzer, it was just one of the most magnificent plays you would ever see in life. And after the game, of course, Rolf won. After the game, we were in the car, and my father, he was fake mad at us. He was like, y'all told me the boy was good. Y'all didn't say the man was awesome and phenomenal. Wait, he yelled at us all the way home and said, we're never missing any more games. Wherever they play, we're going to be there that night. So we went on to see, every game that Rolf played, and I was like, I'm going to have to be a part of that one day. And I love that Rolf Falcon spirit, that Purple Crush. I love it. That was, beginning of my love. It started with Dwight Anderson. But like I said, a triple-double in high school. And then he went on to University of Kentucky, freshman of the year, in the iconic game. You can pull up on YouTube and all that good stuff. Their famous announcer, Al McGuire, Hall of Fame coach, won national championship with Marquette. Dwight, University of Kentucky was playing Notre Dame. And Dwight, he was so fast on the on the basketball court. He lit Notre Dame up. They had a heck of a team. They had Kelly Tripucka, Orlando Woolridge. It didn't matter. A young Bill Laimbeer had a heck of a basketball team. Dwight was clearly the best player on the court. And after he came down, won his dunks, Al McGuire said, "A star is born. A star is born." This guy, they said he was the number one player in high school coming out of high school, but to see him in person, Al McGuire said, this guy is all that and a bag of chips. When I said number one player in high school, Dwight graduated the same year as a few Hall of Famers, but one of them being Mark Aguirre. You know him, great Dallas Maverick, Detroit Piston, bad boy. He's a Hall of Fame. And Mark Aguirre would tell you, Dwight Anderson was the baddest man. Dominique Wilkins, Isaiah Thomas. The list goes on and on when you talk about Dwight Anderson. So Dwight, my friend, my alumni, legend, we salute you. You're no longer here with us, but you are forever, ever, and have always been in our hearts, in our memories, in our minds. He's never, ever going to be forgotten. Last thing, a couple years ago, we honored him. The Dayton Varsity Club honored Dwight Anderson at a dinner at the Taste Restaurant in Trotwood. And that night, that was one of the biggest smiles I've ever seen on Dwight's face. Because I mentioned earlier all the ups and downs that Dwight had in his life. We were sitting in the parking lot talking that night when it was all over with. And he said, "Keith, man, you guys never forgot me. Y'all really, man, this is the happiest night of my life." And then we sit there and hugged, and I was like, "Dwight, you deserve it, man. You deserve it. Just keep doing what you're doing." He said, I am. So to see someone's life come full circle, whether we honor him or not, but it's still, his life came full circle. He didn't need that, but we wanted to give it to him. And the best lesson, or one of the best lessons my father ever taught me, was give people their flowers when they can smell them. And Dwight was able to smell his flowers and the love that he received, from Daytonians and even those, that crossed his path in other areas of life. They saw how Dwight changed his life. And so anyone listening out there today that may be struggling with something, if one person can do it, so can you. So, Dwight was written off by a lot of people, but he was able to turn his life around. And hopefully you can do the same thing with your life, whatever you're going through. But we're going to go to break right now, and we're going to come back. And once we come back, we're going to jump into the NBA playoffs and the NFL. All right. But you listen to the Keith Byars Radio Show, presented by Lee's Famous Recipe Chicken. See you on the other side.
ESPN 1410 Wing AM weather.
Another hot and sunny day today as the temp tops out at 91. A few clouds tonight, low 66. Not as hot tomorrow, mostly sunny, high 84. Even cooler on Friday with a high temp in the upper 70s. I'm John Bailey for 1410 ESPN Radio.
Hi, Joey Beckett here at Buckeye Ford in Sydney, home of the Works package and the double take tire specials. Call today for your appointment. 937-419-8473 or 1-800-700-0050. Buckeye Ford in Sydney, exit 92 off of I-75. We'll see you soon.
OHMB 803342 NMLS 304138. At 3rd Street Financial, we help people with home loans. If you're not financially responsible, we can't help you. If you're wealthy with good credit, we are ready to help you 7 days a week. If you're somewhere in the middle and having issues trying to finance an Ohio, Kentucky, Indiana, or Florida property, you need to call Forrest Ferris immediately at 513-320-5911. We're 3rd Street Financial, and Forrest Ferris specializes in home loans for responsible people who might have had a financial setback. We close home loans banks cannot or will not approve. Our clients might have bruised credit, been through a divorce, are buying a home for sale by owner, or be dealing with probate or estates. Call Forrest now for a free estimate. 513-320-5911. That's 513-320-5911. Offer valid for purchase or refinancing of property located in Ohio, Kentucky, Indiana, or Florida only. Limitations and restrictions apply.
Hi folks, it's me again, and I'm cooking in the sun just like you are. But you know, you can still plant those trees and shrubs right now, and with proper watering, still gain a full summer's growth. We keep our garden center fully stocked all summer long with thousands of good, healthy trees, shrubs, evergreens, perennials, and annuals, because we know that some folks just can't get it all done in the spring. Also, this time of year, there are lots of bargains all over our 6-acre nursery and greenhouses. We have potted rose bushes as low as $14.95, plats of annuals starting at $12.95, and hanging baskets as low as $6.95. We still have a great selection of Rose of Sharon, boxwoods, hydrangeas, and barberry. So come out to 1309 Brant Pike, and remember, we're open 7 days.
And now a game of Commercial Chicken, brought to you by Progressive, where we see how long Flo can go without talking about insurance. Ready? Go.
So, traffic has been crazy lately, right? And rush hour? Forget it. Nobody wants to let you merge onto the highway. But hey, somebody let you merge or you wouldn't be there. So, drivers who switch to Progressive could save big.
Okay, you win. We can't help but save customers money. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates.
Finding the next job is a big job, and that part of what you do is a little tough right now. Because of that, Lowe's for Pros is here to help. Get $400 in leads on us with a free 1-year subscription from Home Advisor to connect to jobs that make sense for you. Sign up at lowesforpros.com/pro-loyalty to get started. Just one more reason why Lowe's is the new home for pros. Now let's get to work. Subscription and $400 lead credit subject to Home Advisor's approval and terms. Valid for new Home Advisor customers only. Lowe's loyalty required. More terms apply. Valid through 9/9 US only.
Today, being there for one another is more important than ever. At Kettering Health Network, our caregivers are dedicated to helping you stay safe and well. We're open and ready to care for you. From treating emergencies to regular wellness visits, count on us to deliver the exceptional care you've come to expect. Kettering Health Network. Together, supporting each other. Learn more at ketteringhealth.org.
At Fisher Investments, we do things differently, and other money managers don't understand why.
Because our way works great for us.
But it may not work for your clients. That's why Fisher Investments is a fiduciary, obligated to put clients first. It's the highest standard for a financial advisor.
So what do you provide? Cookie cutter portfolios like the rest of us?
No cookie cutter portfolios here. Fisher Investments tailors portfolios to meet each client's goals and needs.
But you do sell investments that earn you high commissions, right? And make commissions when you make trades for your clients?
No, Fisher Investments doesn't sell any commission investment products, and we never earn commissions on trades.
So what's in it for you?
Fisher Investments fees are structured so we do better when our clients do better. When it comes to helping clients achieve a comfortable retirement, we're clearly different. Visit FisherInvestments.com to find out why investors like you switch to us. Fisher Investments, clearly different money management.
Investments in securities involve the risk of loss.
You wanted to see me?
Yes, please, have a seat.
So here's the thing. When this company brought you on, we took a chance on you. You didn't have that 4-year college degree we typically look for.
Right.
But we gave you a shot anyway. And since then, you've worked incredibly hard and given it your all.
Thanks.
You've been an important asset to the team, but I don't think you can be an intern here anymore. We want to hire you.
You're serious?
Absolutely.
Find your next great employee. Introduce yourself to the Grads of Life. Who are they? Talent worth knowing about. Young adults of unique determination and experience. An ideal fit for your company in an entry-level position, internship, or even mentorship. They might not have every qualification you typically look for, but they're exactly who your company needs.
I won't let you down.
I know.
Don't miss out on a resource many innovative companies have already discovered. Go to gradsoflife.org to learn how to find, cultivate, and train this great pool of untapped talent. Brought to you by the Ad Council and gradsoflife.org.
Take a look under your bed. Find stuff under there? What about jobs? No? Now try your basement. There's a pair of overalls that overall you're not so into anymore. A perfectly good laptop that hasn't sat in your lap in months. And even more stuff, but still no jobs? Well, you really have both. See, stuff is defined as household articles considered as a group. Sometimes this stuff is no longer needed. Wait, no longer needed? That can't be right. Because remember those jobs you were looking for? Those are really needed. And they're the stuff inside your stuff. Even inside that winter coat that moved with you to Phoenix. Our job is to unlock those jobs, and it starts when you donate your stuff to your local Goodwill. Here's how we do it. When you donate to Goodwill, we sell your stuff to provide job training for people right here in your community. So just by teaming up with Goodwill, you help create jobs. And isn't that worth parting with the leftover guitar from your 80s cover band? Goodwill. Donate stuff, create jobs. Find your nearest donation center at goodwill.org. A message from Goodwill and the Ad Council.
He's a former Buckeyes great and now a college football Hall of Famer. And don't forget about his 13 years of NFL experience playing for the Eagles, Dolphins, Jets, and the New England Patriots. He's Dayton's own Keith Byars. Hang out with him every Monday at noon on the Keith Byars Show, presented by Lee's Famous Recipe Chicken.
Hey, it's Mike Golick. You're listening to my former Philadelphia Eagles teammate, Keith Byars, on the Keith Byars Show on 1410 ESPN Radio.
And we're back. You're listening to the Keith Byars Radio Show, presented by Lee's Famous Recipe Chicken. Phone number to call is 937-457-9464. You can hit me on Twitter also, KAB41. And I'm live streaming. You can type in some of your questions also in that 1410ESPN.com. We got a call on the line. We have Chuck from Dayton. How you doing today, Chuck? Uh-oh. Yeah. Hello, Chuck. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Oh, okay. What's on your mind today?
Oh, man, I was just listening to your radio show, and, man, a lot of Dwight Anderson's plays came to mind, man. It's kind of unexplainable. You had to be there.
You're right.
The atmosphere, we both, we're at Rolf, and man, we were treated like, man, before St. Mary St. Vincent, it was Rolf High School.
Yeah, it's you're kind of like I'll say it. We were treated like royalty, in high school, because that was the place to be. Where are the Rolf Falcons playing at? Are they home or away? I need to be in the building, to see them play.
Absolutely. And, my fondest memory of Dwight was we used to have a parade All-American game at the Hare Arena.
Yes, I remember that.
It was parade All-American versus the Miami Valley All-Stars. Well, Dwight was a parade All-American, but he was also from Dayton. Instead of playing for the parade All-American team, he played for the Miami Valley team. And
because he was both.
He was both, but he played for the Miami Valley team. The Miami Valley team ended up beating the parade All-American team. But I remember one play where I cannot remember which parade All-American was shooting this jump shot, but Dwight was on the right wing. The parade All-American player shot the ball from the left wing. Dwight comes across the court, takes the ball out the air.
Just blocked his ball out. They shot out the air. Just jumped up.
Called it out the air. True story.
I believe it.
I need some guys to back me up on.
You don't need no back. You don't need any backup. No, the sort because the only backup you need is for the younger generation that really doesn't believe things like that happen.
Sure.
Because they just have not used to it. Dispute. Well, I shouldn't say a dispute. A debate is a better question. A debate I get in with young guys that they think the players that play today jump higher than the players that jumped yesterday. I was like, sure. Guys, a 42-inch vertical is a 42-inch vertical no matter when you do it, or 46 or whatever your vertical is. It just seems like you got a taller guy just jumping 42 inches, but it doesn't matter. But when you see greatness, and greatness doesn't come out every year. I think, phenoms come out, every 10 to 15 years, at the earliest. You don't think, we're talking about Dwight Anderson, but the next, we had to wait till we got to LeBron James before we could even compare anybody to him.
Absolutely.
And who are we comparing to LeBron James right now after LeBron came out of high school? Do we have anybody yet?
No.
It came out of high school after LeBron.
Yes, not yet.
Not yet.
There's a kid in Michigan. There's a kid in Michigan.
No, I'm just talking about here in Ohio.
Okay.
Just Ohio kids.
Gotcha.
Because it is a gap there. But I think, and we still haven't got anybody. LeBron is the closest we've come to Dwight. I'm not, I don't know where you are with that. I don't stand saying LeBron is better than Dwight Anderson. I think Dwight they're close because it's not a lot of gap between Dwight and LeBron and Dwight and Jerry Lucas, to name a few, just to name three players. But I think of those three I named, Dwight is still over them. He stands above them as far as head and shoulders, or just head or eyebrows or whatever. I think Dwight, stands out. His high school career. Because I think people confuse it when you talk about high school, you start to bring in the college and the professional aspect. No, that doesn't in the equation. The equation is in what did they do in high school. So for Dwight to average a triple-double in high school with 38 points, 14 rebounds, and 11 assists without a three-point line, that is special. And it's only 32 minutes of play. LeBron's numbers, I'm not a big numbers guy per se when that's saying that was defining you. I say numbers only tell at the best half your story. They don't tell your whole story. And you have to be there in the place to see these guys play at the time. And, Dwight Anderson, ticks all the boxes. Jerry Lucas ticks a lot of those boxes, and so does LeBron James. He checks a lot of those boxes. But if I got to choose who checks the most boxes, it's Dwight Anderson. And not just because he went to Rolfe High School. I've been watching, just like you. You've coached a lot of AAU kids from Dayton area, and you go to all the tournaments around the country. You've seen a lot of them. And in your mind, when you start saying the high school guys, how does he compare to Dwight Anderson? And I've lived in Florida and New Jersey and New York, and I've seen a whole bunch of high school kids play. I'm like, you're good, dude. You're really good. I'm not taking anything away from you. But there's Dwight Anderson that I've seen better. I'm not being disrespectful. I'm just, speaking from my heart and what I've seen.
And you're absolutely right. When I see these guys, I have to stop that because I was able to see the best basketball player ever. Yeah. And a lot of people have not seen that.
And it's hard for them to compare. It's hard for them to understand where you're coming from.
Exactly. I'm a little bit more critical on players. But with that said, on a little serious note, I do want to say that, and Keith, you kind of mentioned on it, is that Dwight did a 360. We were able to work with some kids as far as training, and he gave back to the community. A lot of people with what he went through would have just hid in a cave. Right. He didn't do that. he came back and gave back to these youngsters, and I really looked up to that.
Yeah. I mean, when was the last time you saw Dwight?
About 2 weeks ago, on his bike, going past Riverview Park, and I stopped to talk to him because he had to stop, and I just pulled over and rolled my window down and talked to him for a minute.
So was he coming or going from the basketball court? Because it's always usually one or the other.
Yeah, but he was coming back from work.
Okay.
Yes.
Well, see, but it was only a short amount of time before he gonna get changed. I mean, he's always, like I said, yes, he changed his life, but one thing he would never change was his love for basketball. Absolutely. I mean, like I said, we hate to see him go. We're gonna miss him. And, he needs to be sent off in the right way. But if I had heard story that he had, passed out on a basketball court, I'd have been like, would not have been surprising, to me. But he's gone too soon. I mean, 59 is way too soon. But his physical body is no longer here. But his spiritual, body that he left here in Dayton is going to go on and on. It's going to, there'll be a generation of kids being born in hospitals today will hear this name of Dwight Anderson, and someday they'll study him like, wow, Dwight Anderson. Yes, because he deserves that. He's earned it.
I mean, absolutely, man.
Yeah. Well, Chuck,
thank you all.
Thanks for the call, man. Absolutely, man. Appreciate it. Thanks for listening. And anytime you have a phone number, feel free to give us a shout. All right. Thanks a lot. That was Chuck Taylor. Calling in. I didn't mean to give up his last name, but I think you understand. He's an awesome. He's an icon here also. We got Clifford from Dayton. How you doing, Clifford?
Hey, how you doing, Mr. Byars?
I'm doing good.
Okay. Hey, Dwight Anderson. I didn't catch the first of your show coming on. I don't know how long you've been talking about it, but
the whole show. It's okay.
So did you say he was better than LeBron, or is it safe to say that Dwight Anderson was the best player to ever come out of Ohio? Or how do we rank that?
Well, I mean, yes, he was better. Did you see LeBron? I mean, did you see Dwight Anderson play?
Yes.
So you're old enough to see Dwight Anderson play high school basketball?
Yes and no. I was old enough to watch, but I never was in it at that time. Plus, I just seen a lot of documentaries on him, and me being born in the 70s, I heard a lot about him.
Okay. I mean, it's a I don't call it a tough question. It's just a difficult question because, a lot of people think you're being disrespectful when you come up with these lists. No matter who you say number one, they're gonna be like, well, what about this guy? You hating and this, that, and the other. And it's not it at all. It's love that your name is even mentioned, in there. So we're already saying you're good.
And looking just to show you how good of a basketball player he was. Now I do remember this. I remember when he was down on his level, he was in the streets. He was still coming to the neighborhood rec centers and still being like Dwight Anderson.
Lighting the gym up.
Still taking people out still. And, with people down on their luck and they're doing that type of stuff, most of the time, they're not in good shape to do it or something like that. But he was still, they still couldn't stop him. Yeah. But I am glad that the Lord seen fit for him to get himself together before he left this earth.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. And I'm happy, to see that too. I mean, because when he was down and out, a lot of people, put a lot of bad words in front of his name, and I'm like, man, hey, that could be any of us, man. Don't kick dirt on somebody. For the grace of God, there go I. But I'm glad, that he finally had that wherewithal to say, okay, enough is enough. I have to do something about it. Because a lot of the prayers work too. A lot of us prayed for him and hoped that, he get his life together. And it did. He did. So that's the glory of it all.
Okay, Byars, thanks for the call.
I appreciate it, Clifford. Thank you. Thank you. Well, and that's how letting you know how impactful, Dwight Anderson has been in the city and in a lot of people's lives he's touched. Some he knew, but a great many, he did not know. So the phone number is 937-457-9464. Feel free to give me a call, and we can, there's always enough room in the show to talk about Dwight Anderson. We're going to go to break. We'll talk more sports after the break. Number is 937-457-9464.
It's the Keith Byars Show, presented by Lee's Famous Recipe Chicken, right here on Dayton's home of the Buckeyes, 1410 ESPN Radio.
Give your home lasting protection with low-maintenance vinyl siding from Menards and get 11% off. Cedar Creek Vinyl Siding offers exceptional value. Or step up to thicker Harbor Ridge or Timbercrest Premium Vinyl Siding, or get the ultimate with Super Premium Richmond Vinyl Siding. They're all 11% off. Prices are good until September 12th. Savings are mail-in rebate. Some exclusions apply. See store for details.
Save big money at Menards.
You have empty office space to fill. You know what you need, and you know what you'd like. But you also have a pretty good idea after you've shopped around the usual places that what you need and what you'd like, that might not happen. Well, then you haven't been to Charles Larrick's Warehouse Outlet. Nobody has their selection. Nobody has their discounts. And every week there's something new. If you need office furniture, Charles Larrick's Warehouse Outlet can sell it to you for half price and below manufacturer suggested prices. Half price and below on hundreds of items. Selection from budget to the best. Really. Desks from $50 to $5,000. File cabinets, $25 to $500. Before you go anywhere else, do yourself a favor and come to Larrick's Outlet. With 87,000 square feet of selection, you're not going to go anywhere else. Charles Larrick's Warehouse Outlet. 2 locations. One at 23 McOil Street, Dayton. The other, Unique's Unlimited on South Dixie. Open Monday through Friday, 10 to 6. Saturday, 10 to 4.
Montgomery County veterans, we're here to serve you. You served your country, and now it's time we served you. You are entitled to many VA benefits, to include compensation, pension, and more. Call 937-225-4801 or online at mcvsc.org.
Don't put it off any longer. You know it's time for a bathroom upgrade by Bath Creations. Bath Creations, serving the greater Dayton and Cincinnati area, is a leader in bathroom renovations, providing the best value in bath and shower remodeling, and proudly made in the USA. With Bath Creations, you get a beautiful modern bathroom that is safe, comfortable, and affordable. Attention first responders, veterans, and active military. Save $500 off your purchase. Visit on Poe Avenue in Dayton or online at mybathcreations.com and upgrade today.
PB Auctions is back in Zanesville at the fairgrounds with the big building material and home improvement auction, and it's all online. Don't miss your chance to buy kitchens, flooring, doors, trim, siding, plumbing, and tools. Over 1,000 lots, all to be sold online in the auction at pbauctions.com. Bidding is now open and the auction ends Thursday at 12 p.m. Go to pbauctions.com for registration and preview times, and we'll see you online at the auction this Thursday in Zanesville, Ohio.
O'Reilly. Superstart batteries exclusively at O'Reilly Auto Parts are designed to meet the electrical demands of today's vehicles. Get dependable power and performance from a Superstart battery for your car, truck, motorcycle, lawnmower, boat, and more. Our professional parts people can help you find just what you need. Stop by O'Reilly Auto Parts today.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Hi, I'm Municipal Court Judge James Purchas.
And I'm Clerk of Courts Mike Foley.
Do you have outstanding fines and court costs?
From October 19th to October 30th, you can come into either Municipal Court in Huber Heights or New Lebanon and pay off half of your fines and costs, and the other half will be waived.
Also, if you have a warrant,
you can do it this year.
Brought to you by Judge James Purchas
and Clerk of Courts Mike Foley.
Cordell Transportation is now hiring Class A CDL drivers with home daily lanes. $2,000 sign-on bonus, great pay and benefits. Contact Cody. Apply online at CordellTransportation.com. Cordell Transportation. Driven to succeed.
I am Disinfector.
What's with him?
I told him flu shots gave us a superpower against germs.
CVS is your one-stop shop for immunity support, from hand wipes to vitamins that are third-party tested to confirm they meet our high standards.
Take that, germs.
Plus, get a $5 off $20 shopping pass when you get a free flu shot. Visit CVS today. No-cost flu shots with most insurance. Restrictions apply. Visit CVS.com and CVS.com/tested for details.
Finding the next job is a big job, and that part of what you do is a little tough right now. Because of that, Lowe's for Pros is here to help. Get $400 in leads on us with a free 1-year subscription from Home Advisor to connect to jobs that make sense for you. Sign up at lowesforpros.com/pro-loyalty to get started. Just one more reason why Lowe's is the new home for pros. Now let's get to work. Subscription and $400 lead credit subject to Home Advisor's approval and terms. Valid for new Home Advisor customers only. Lowe's loyalty required. More terms apply. Valid through 9/9 US only.
Take a look under your bed. Find stuff under there? What about jobs? No? Now try your basement. There's a pair of overalls that overall you're not so into anymore. A perfectly good laptop that hasn't sat in your lap in months. And even more stuff, but still no jobs? Well, you really have both. See, stuff is defined as household articles considered as a group. Sometimes this stuff is no longer needed. Wait, no longer needed? That can't be right. Because remember those jobs you were looking for? Those are really needed. And they're the stuff inside your stuff. Even inside that winter coat that moved with you to Phoenix. Our job is to unlock those jobs, and it starts when you donate your stuff to your local Goodwill. Here's how we do it. When you donate to Goodwill, we sell your stuff to provide job training for people right here in your community. So just by teaming up with Goodwill, you help create jobs. And isn't that worth parting with the leftover keytar from your 80s cover band? Goodwill. Donate stuff, create jobs. Find your nearest donation center at goodwill.org. A message from Goodwill and the Ad Council.
You wanted to see me?
Yes, please, have a seat. So here's the thing. When this company brought you on, we took a chance on you. You didn't have that 4-year college degree we typically look for.
Right.
But we gave you a shot anyway. And since then, you've worked incredibly hard and given it your all.
Thanks.
You've been an important asset to the team, but I don't think you can be an intern here anymore. We want to hire you.
You're serious?
Absolutely.
Find your next great employee. Introduce yourself to the grads of life. Who are they? Talent worth knowing about. Young adults of unique determination and experience. An ideal fit for your company in an entry-level position, internship, or even mentorship. They might not have every qualification you typically look for, but they're exactly who your company needs.
I won't let you down.
I know.
Don't miss out on a resource many innovative companies have already discovered. Go to gradsoflife.org to learn how to find, cultivate, and train this great pool of untapped talent. Brought to you by the Ad Council and gradsoflife.org.
Attention men under the age of 35. You know what really impresses the ladies? When a guy has a few drinks and later gets pulled over for buzz driving. That could cost you around $10,000 in fines, legal fees, and increased insurance rates. There goes let's grab dinner and a movie. Oh, I know. You drive more carefully when you're buzzed. You've proven that hundreds of times. A woman admires that kind of confidence. And you've practiced how to speak if a cop does pull you over. Slowly, clearly, and politely like, "Good evening, officer." A woman admires that kind of foresight. And what woman doesn't find it adorable that you call it buzzed even though the law calls it drunk? You can kiss $10,000 goodbye, along with any chance of having a girlfriend. Because nothing says, "I'm a catch," more than a guy who lives in his parents' basement and calls it my place.
Buzzed, busted, and broke. Because buzz driving is drunk driving. A message from the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
Tune in every Friday night at 7 o'clock for the ESPN Dayton High School Football Game of the Week, presented by Kettering Health Network Orthopedics and Sports Medicine. Check out wingam.com for the complete schedule and archive games. It's the Keith Byars Show, presented by Lee's Famous Recipe Chicken, right here on Dayton's home of the Buckeyes, 1410 ESPN Radio. He's a former Buckeyes great and now a college football Hall of Famer. And don't forget about his 13 years of NFL experience playing for the Eagles, Dolphins, Jets, and the New England Patriots.
Watch for the great block by Keith Byars on Pepper Johnson. Bam! Right there. Byars just nailed it.
He's Dayton's own Keith Byars. It's the Keith Byars Show, presented by Lee's Famous Recipe Chicken on Dayton's home of the Ohio State Buckeyes, 1410 ESPN Radio.
Welcome back to the Keith Byars Radio Show. Presented by Lee's Famous Recipe Chicken. He's had a bite or two, I must confess, on the break. Maybe you're in your car and he's riding down the street. There's Lee's right there. Pull over. Get you some. Phone number is 937-457-9464. For the break, we're talking about Dwight Anderson, so feel free to, spread your love or express anything you got to say about Dwight. Also in the news, this morning, I got a message. Ryan Seizier officially retired from the NFL. I know you said he just now officially retired. Yeah, he officially retired. He was been on the roster, for the Steelers. We all know about Ryan Seizier, former Ohio State Buckeye All-American, played for team I don't like very much, but I love Ryan. Pittsburgh Steelers. Let me quit joking. I played for the Pittsburgh Steelers, and he had that horrific injury against the Bengals, where his spinal cord injury, temporarily paralyzed, and he was able to walk again, even danced at his wedding. He held out hopes of maybe possibly returning to the NFL, to the gridiron one day. And, he finally, came to that realization today, said, football's always been very good to him. And it's always going to be a part of his life, just like, my life is always going to be a part of football. But everybody's football career comes with an expiration date, some sooner than others. But his is, came too soon. But nevertheless, he still had a great career. So he's retired officially. I remember talking to him back on the Buckeye Cruise back in February. We were talking about retirement then. He's like, Keith, I'm just not ready to say it yet. I know I'm closer, I'm getting closer to say it, but I'm not ready yet. I said, man, you got the rest of your life not to play football. So if you don't have to make the decision up now. Whenever it's time, you'll know. You keep doing what you're doing. He's working his behind off and rehabbing and all that stuff. And I mean, dude, he went from not being able to maybe possibly walk again, to walking, jogging, little things. And so be able to return to the NFL, yes, that was a long shot, but I'm not a dream stealer. I'm not going to be the one to say, no way. He would come to his own decision, and Ryan did. So today he's officially retired, which leads to the NFL season starting tomorrow. Who do you guys have? Kansas City Chiefs, Houston Texans? I don't know, but I'm just happy football is back. I had to get on my computer yesterday, and I didn't want to wait till the last minute because I wanted to get the NFL Sunday ticket. And being a fellow ex-NFL player, that's one of the few perks we do get. We get free Sunday ticket, but you can't pick up the phone and call the DirecTV and say, hey, give me the Sunday ticket. They're going to put that on your bill. So we have a special code. I can't share the code with you because it's only good for me. And one time it's like the old Mission Impossible. Once the code self-destructs.
You could just write it down for me.
It self-destructs after you. So I will have the Sunday ticket on Sunday. So I'll be watching all the football games. I won't be going to any, but I'll be watching them. I'd certainly be watching them. I mean, right now, my Eagles are still undefeated. So I feel good about that. But I had a question I didn't get to. I'll get to it more in deeper details next week. So you got a week to think about it, so you don't have to answer today. But going into the 2020 season, which hasn't started, but this time next week it will have been started, who are your top 5 quarterbacks going into the season? I know by the end of the season, this list will probably change. It seems to do that every year. Last year, when I asked that question, I don't think how many people remained on that list. But this is Keith Byars' top 5 quarterbacks in the NFL in no particular order. So I'm not ranking them 1 through 5. The top 5 quarterbacks going into the season for 2020. I'm sure a lot of you people in fantasy already chose your teams already, so I can't help you. But I have Pat Mahomes, Russell Wilson, Lamar Jackson, Carson Wentz, and Aaron Rodgers. I think they would be the top 5 quarterbacks in 2020. I would love to see, and when I rank them 1 through 5, I hope Carson Wentz is number 1 on my list by the end of the season, because that means my team is in the playoffs with a good chance for the Super Bowl. But I mean, Pat Mahomes, who's going to argue about him being a top 5 quarterback or a top 3 quarterback or a top 2 quarterback or a top 1 quarterback? Pat Mahomes he's a reigning Super Bowl MVP. Not league MVP, but the Super Bowl MVP. But he's had a heck of a start to his NFL career. He's going into year 4. He's already won a league MVP and the Super Bowl MVP. Not very many, if anybody, has done that. So, kudos, to Pat Mahomes, started his career. Russell Wilson, I have on my list. We'll see what kind of adjustments. If Russell ever gets a wide receiver, you have to double. You really have to look out. He has a Super Bowl championship on his resume as well. And yes, Russell's starting to get up there now. I think Russell's going into year 9 or 10, something like that. But he just gets better with time. Lamar Jackson. It's had somewhat of an extended offseason. He's a reigning league MVP. Going into year 3. His first 2 years he's been in the playoffs. Last year, league MVP. Or are the Ravens ready to take it up another notch? And what about Lamar Jackson? Where else can his game go? Will he repeat as MVP? As the defensive coaches, they've had, like I said, they had extended all season. Have they come up with an answer how to slow down? I don't think stop is the correct word. Slow down Lamar Jackson. We're going to get a good look at him, pretty soon with that. Also, I mentioned Carson Wentz earlier. The biggest question coming out of Philly, can Carson Wentz play 16 games? Yeah, can he, stay healthy in the playoffs? His team, he's got a Super Bowl on his resume also. Yes, he wasn't the quarterback in the Super Bowl, but they wouldn't be in the Super Bowl without him. He's the reason why they had that chance where the probably the best relief pitcher in the NFL came in and carried the rest of the way. And Aaron Rodgers, he's has a Super Bowl on his resume. I think Aaron Rodgers, he's the key to Green Bay. If he plays well, Green Bay has a chance. He doesn't play well, they don't have a shot. But those are the top 5 quarterbacks going into 2020 that I have on my list. The NFL quarterbacks have gotten healthier over the last 2 to 3 years. Because 2-3 years ago, I was telling you, there's quarterbacks in this league. There's probably less than 5 or 6 quarterbacks I wouldn't mind playing with. Now today, they've gotten better. Now today, it's closer to 20 quarterbacks I wouldn't mind being in a huddle with. So that's a testament to the health of the NFL at the quarterback position, and some of the rules have made away. So Tom Brady didn't make my list, but he may be in the top 5. Now he has more weapons down in Tampa. Drew Brees, is out there. Joey Garofalo was in the Super Bowl last year. He's somewhere hovering, out there. Josh Allen and Buffalo, he's improved, every year he's been in the league. He's in the playoffs last year. Wait a minute, you didn't say anybody from Ohio, Keith. You didn't say Baker. You didn't mention Baker Mayfield. Well, we'll see. Baker, this is a big year 3 for you. We'll see, Baker. I wish you well. I want to see the Browns. I talked about it last week. I want to see a bout of Ohio. I want to see the Browns and the Bengals, be playing for first place. Speaking of, Joe Burrows, you cannot get on the list. You haven't played a game. You haven't played a snap. Go out there and earn your way on my top 5 at the end of the season. Quarterbacks in the NFL. I know a lot of Bengals fans are pulling for you. I'm pulling for you. You're a former Buckeye, even though you left us, but you're still a former Buckeye. You're from Ohio. You only left for a couple of years. We won't hold that against you. So, Joe Burrows, Cincinnati Bengals. Hey, you've been playing all your life, waiting for opportunities like this. So let's see how that works out for you. Real quick before the show ends. Oh, the NBA playoffs. They are starting to get exciting. I was watching last night. if that Laker team that played last night against Houston, I think they'll be in the conference finals. I think that the Lakers up 2-1. I see that series going 6 games. So I got the Lakers winning that 4-2. The Clippers are up 2-1. I think that's going to be a 7-game series because those Denver Nuggets are not going to go away easily. So they're up 2-1. I see that going 7 games. It's going to be a coin toss at that point. In the Eastern Conference, the Heat, they already stamped their ticket. They are in the Eastern Conference Finals. Beat the Bucks 4 out of 5. Almost swept them. The Heat right now are the best team in the NBA post-bubble. I mean, in the bubble teams. They've only lost 1 playoff game. They're 8-1 in the playoffs. Which leads, last but not least, the Boston Celtics are up against the Toronto Raptors 3-2. Toronto, the defending champs, probably the most disrespected defending NBA champion of all time. But hey, they still have championship spirit. It's going to be hard to whip them in 6. I see that one going 7 games also. So we'll see. That'll be a coin toss. But we'll talk about that and more as the next week shows goes on. But in the meantime, football is back, baby. Enjoy the NFL kickoff tomorrow. We're going to watch some college games soon. But hey, Browns, you're undefeated. Bengals, you're undefeated. How about both of y'all making the playoffs this year? Hey, have a good sports weekend. You've been listening to the Keith Byars Radio Show, and do random acts of kindness to your fellow man. Black Lives Matter. Let's crush this coronavirus. God bless. See you next week.
It's the Keith Byars Show, presented by Lee's Famous Recipe Chicken, right here on Dayton's home of the Buckeyes, 1410 ESPN Radio.
Hi, folks, it's me again, and I'm cooking in the sun just like you are. But you can still plant those trees and shrubs right now, and with proper water